Welcome to your future, pal.
Armageddon, the apocalypse, doomsday. Call it what you will, the end of mankind has always occupied a central role in popular imagination. From the four horsemen of Judeo-Christian scripture, to fears of a nuclear holocaust in the 60s, to societal collapse following the Y2K bug, it seems that every epoch brings with it a new and terrifying threat to civilization.
And yet somehow we're still here. But what if I told you that mankind now faces its biggest threat to date? Nothing evangelical or Satan related, something real, close and f***ing terrifying. Global warming.
But isn't global warming just for hairy sandal enthusiasts, chaining themselves to trees and bemoaning the loss of some obscure species of Peruvian toad?
Well, it used to be, but ever since DiCaprio came out as an eco-warrior, climate activism has gotten a lot sexier and more serious. So what's it all about?
Over the past 50 years, the average global temperature has increased at the fastest rate in recorded history. And this is primarily due to a huge spike in greenhouse gases. When these little p***s collect in the atmosphere, they absorb solar radiation that would naturally escape into space, trapping heat and turning our lovely planet into a big, filthy oven.
And if there's one thing I've learned about ovens, it's that I don't like being in them.
Now these gases, though naturally occurring, have seen a dramatic increase since the birth of industrialisation, be that via the burning of fossil fuels, mass deforestation, or the expansion of animal agriculture.
These guys might look cute, but their farts are literally killing us.
Based on our current CO2 emissions, we can expect the planet's average temperature to have warmed up by 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2033. This might not sound so bad, but according to leading research, it would only take an increase of 2 degrees before we started seeing pretty severe levels of climate change, with impacts such as mass starvation, disease, flooding, storm destruction, forced migration, and war. Based on current projections, this is due to kick in around 2045, making 2020 a delightful park walk by comparison.
The truth is, we're already starting to see the big impacts of climate change. Half the world's coral reefs have died, crop yields are decreasing by 1 to 2% each decade, and there are even predictions we'll see an ice-free Arctic in the next few years, making the Fox's Glacier Mint logo a horrifying reality.
So given that the future of the planet hangs in the balance, what's being done about climate change? Well, in 2015, 196 nations entered into a contract known as the Paris Agreement, with the primary goal of reducing the global temperature to a figure closer to pre-industrial levels. Now this won't be easy, requiring a complete rehaul of manufacturing, transport and general consumption, along with huge cash injections into sustainable energy.
It's certainly a step in the right direction, especially as some of the world's largest polluters, like the US and China, have put pen to paper. However, thanks to the tireless housery of former president and full-time Donald Trump, the project hasn't exactly gotten off to the smoothest of starts.
Alongside structural changes, members of the scientific community have come up with some pretty radical ideas for how we might best adapt to our brave new world. Smart clothing that helps us regulate body temperature, new building materials with higher melting points, and geoengineering projects to fertilise entire oceans or release chemicals in the upper atmosphere that reflect the sun's rays. Playing God, effectively, which is ideal since God's been pretty quiet lately.
Now you might be thinking, hey, this all sounds pretty groovy. Hot weather, new threads, and a gloriously fertile ocean in which to bathe my tanned and well-regulated body. Well, hold your horses, Buster, because it's not going to be like that, at least not for everyone. Now you may be enjoying the smug satisfaction of going pescatarian and recycling bottles, but there are a group of leading scientists who have a message for you, that really, whatever you do, it's already too late. According to their interpretation of the data, we're already past the point of no return, and the severe effects of climate change, like famine, war, and infrastructural collapse, are scheduled far sooner than we thought. Now, it's important to note that this is only a school of thought. The jury's still out on whether we have time to correct the error of our ways or need to start hastily preparing for a very different type of existence. But whichever side you fall on, it's pretty clear climate change is no laughing matter. Over the past 200 years, we've battered and bruised our planet in unforgivable and potentially irreversible ways. And whilst we watch the world burn, politicians continue to prop up dirty industry, suppress climate activism, and in the case of this, or in a supremacist, deny the problem even exists. My advice, write to your MP, talk to your friends, take to the streets, and if that doesn't work, well, gather your loved ones and hunker down, because the worst is yet to come.